Peace, peoples. Peace, love, and hair grease. What's going on? Alright, so I figured I'd shoot this quick video. Just to address a couple different emails. I figure this is a good way to do it while I'm riding to my destination, rather than having to respond individually. So I received a couple emails on a couple different things. One, received a email about some of the work that we've been doing down here. And I want to make this clear if you send an email to this. What does it involve, on how do you sign up, and how do you join? Well, I want to make this clear. You don't sign up for anything. You don't join anything. So I want to address that. So if you are contacting, and if you look in all the videos that I shoot, when we put a flyer out for a ritual, I just want to make this clear, so I figure I'll address this and get this out the way. You'll see it says you just email to request an invite. And all that's simply involved is just to have a brief conversation with you, just to kind of make sure it's the right fit. When I say it's the right fit, so you have a general understanding of what we're doing, and to make sure it's what you want to do. So I want to make that clear. There's nothing to sign up for, okay? So you don't have to contact me. How do I sign up, or how do I join? There's nothing to join. There's nothing to sign up. I don't do that. I don't mess around with that. As I said, with the rituals, if you want to come, that's entirely up to you. You make that conscious decision to come. You can come as little or as much as you want. There's nothing to join. Some people come on a regular basis. Some people we might see a couple of times throughout the year. Some people we might see every other month, whatever. It's entirely up to you. So I want to put that out there, make that clear, because I've received a few emails about, well, how do I sign up and join? Well, again, when the flyer goes out, you just request an invite. It's that simple. All right. So I want to address that. The online classes, as I said, we're in the middle of the session. Really can't get in on that right now. That's pretty much closed. Because, like I said, I'd be doing you a disservice if you came in missing the material and the work that we've done as a collective up until this point. So that's shut down. As far as when the next session will take place, soon as this one's over, I usually take a couple months break. But from what it's looking like now, late summer, early fall is when I'll run the next one. All right, but I don't really like to focus on that now, because my energy is invested in the one that's currently going at the present moment. All right. Then also, I know people have emailed me about books on certain subjects. As you've seen in the videos the last several months, I don't really use books too much. So I receive emails, any current or interesting books, this or that. I've been just kind of coming from a whole bunch of different perspectives as far as books. That's why you don't really see me using them too much in the videos. I will use excerpts once in a while, just to connect it with a point. I did receive emails also about back in February, I shot a series of videos on the Sith, because that month in February, we did a ritual at the end of the month. It was a Sith initiation type of ritual. You weren't initiated into anything as far as a group is concerned, and I made that clear. But some people had asked a list of books I had used during those videos. I put in that video, I know a bunch of times I put up a series of books, and maybe tomorrow when I go live I'll put them up again, but just to throw them out there, the books, a lot of the material, like the will over behavior, which is very critical on this path, understanding and manifesting your will and how you control your behaviors that could be good for you or not so good for you, depending on what you got going on in your life. But a lot of the information was coming from, I told people where they can go to get it, the Sith Academy, all right? And let me just clarify, like I said back then in February, I'm going to repeat myself again. If you Google the Sith Academy, you go on Amazon, you Google the Sith Academy, you'll see a bunch of their books come out. They have Acolyte training books. They have books on different subjects, how they connected to the Sith. The Acolyte book has a whole series of exercises, spiritual rituals, challenges, a whole bunch of different things you can do in there if your interest is to challenge yourself on that path of a Sith. But I want to make this clear, and I made this disclaimer when I was shooting the videos. I by no means am saying that I 100% support and I'm not a member of the Sith Academy. I want to make that crystal clear. I do gravitate towards some of their information. So I wanted to make sure I put that disclaimer out there. There's a lot of information in their books that I do agree with, that do resonate with left-hand path principles. But there's also material in their books that I don't really feel, that I feel is kind of religious in nature. But that's just me. So I was in no way promoting or telling an individual or encourage an individual to join. That's entirely up to you. But you can find a lot of that material that I was coming from in them series of videos back in February from the Sith Academy. Just Google Sith Academy on Amazon and all their books will come up. And again, you pick and choose, which ones, resonate with you. Not all of them resonate with me. But the material that I was covering in those videos back in February do resonate, especially the will over, behaviors, because that's really one of our number one problems, period, in my opinion, on this path. We don't have control over our behaviors, plural, because how we act or react to things is a telltale factor of what we're mastering or what we're struggling with. So doing a lot of work, as they term an acolyte, through those books that they have. Those books try to really challenge and bring out the best in you. I mentioned the saber-toothed tiger or the saber mind ritual, which is a ritual and an exercise that's connected to the sharpening of the sword and how it's likened to the sharpening of the mind. Because a lot of the magic is mental, and a lot of those rituals and exercises and challenges in the Sith Academy books challenge your mental strength, your mental fortitude. It challenges your mental discipline, your willpower. There's a lot of intense meditations in there. If you want to do what we call black magic type of meditations, there's mantras and things of that nature also in there one can do. Visualizations, which these, in my opinion, are aspects of black magic that take skill. It's not easily accessible for everybody, and I mean that. It takes discipline. It takes doing consistent work. It takes practice. You liken it. I'll use the sports analogy. An athlete has to work on his craft. He has to practice. If you want to have a great jump shot, you got to practice your jump shot. If you want to be a 300 hitter, you got to be in that batting cage, put in your cage work, take your batting practice. It's not going to happen overnight. But it's a high, and it deals with, what we would call high aspects of mental alchemy. And mental alchemy is used on the black magic path, or the path of the black adept, because it represents transformation or transmutation, or transitioning from one state of existence into another. And essentially the Sith Acolyte Handbook, that's the objective, or that's what it's trying to show and teach, by way of the different rituals, exercises, and challenges that you can do in that Sith book, if you choose. But like I said, that's entirely up to you. So I just want to make that clear, as I did back in February. By no means am I, promoting it and encouraging people to join it. That's something you do on your own free will. That's entirely up to you. But as I said, there is good information in a lot of those books that you can apply to your work on the left-hand path, for sure, no doubt. So I just want to make sure that we're clear on that, So there's nothing to email me for as far, as joining. So what we, since I'm, again, doing this video, what I'd like to finish up with, what we're going to continue our discussions on over the next couple of weeks leading up to the ritual at the end of the month. We're going to continue working with what we know as these demonic entities or energies. As you see now, I'm going to go into depth and in detail with the clip pot. I'm going to go into, that and how it's connected to the Citra Aqua and how the facilitators of that are Samael and Lilith, or what's the representation of Samael and Lilith, which in essence is to become like a Baphomet, as far as symbolically what Baphomet represents. The masculine and feminine energy, the totality, the equilibrium, the harmony, the as above, so below, the as within, so without. When you're working with those energies and you are creating the harmony between the Samael and Lilith energy, that's what you in essence are doing. You are becoming like a Baphomet. Okay? Not worshiping Baphomet and looking at Baphomet as some external entity or deity to worship, because there are some that do, not on the path or not the methodology that I'm teaching you from. That's not the perspective I'm coming from. I'm coming from a more higher aspect of Luciferianism. And a Luciferian looks at this Baphomet symbol in a multitude of ways. Not as a literal entity. Now, again, unfortunately, there are people out there that do, but that is not the perspective I'm coming from. I want to make that crystal clear. So, the demonology, working with the demons, understanding the demons of the Klippoth and what they represent. Again, the objective is to, how does that help you in your work and how to apply it? Because it is something that is talked about a lot. It is something you will hear in many quote-unquote occult left-hand path circles. But my objective is, how can I work with those demonic energies, and how can I utilize them in my ritualistic work on a consistent basis? Well, it's very similar. We'll get into that in depth tomorrow. We'll get into it. But we will continue, down that path. And what I kind of like to do on a month-to-month basis is kind of focus in a particular area, the dynamics of it. And I started last week with Azazel, which is important because that's really step one as far as what it represents to the practitioner, the adept on this path to self-mastery, or whatever you want to call it. That's critical. It's key. It's key because it helps you understand your place, what to expect on the journey, what you're going to go through. I want to make that clear. By no means, if you've been watching my videos for the last couple of years, I never present this as something easy or simple. It's work. Don't let nobody bullshit you. It's work. And if you're willing to put in the work and the time, and you're really willing to apply yourself, you will get the results. You will benefit, from what it is that you need to do. Okay? If you're not willing to put in the work and you think that this is just some quick fix-all, thing that I'm just going to jump into the occult in the left-hand path and I'm going to light a few candles and do a few rituals and boom, my life is changed and, and everything is good. No. But you're gonna initially find out sometimes the transition and the change is so intense that it becomes even more difficult, especially in the beginning stages, because you're really starting to unravel all those things that you have not been given the attention and time to that you should have been. All those core issues in your life that you have not addressed, that you have not done work on to fix or correct about yourself. So I always tell people, especially newer people just getting on the path, that those initial beginning stages can be very intense for the individual. as far as the intensity of the change, it can be very overwhelming. And it's important to understand that. And that's why I always recommend road clearing work is a good place to start. Because the mistakes some people will make, they'll come on this path and they'll start doing all this crazy shit right out the gate. And sometimes that can fuck you up even more because of those core issues that you have that are deeply embedded in your subconscious, that are creating the traumas and the emotional disconnects and things of that nature. So sometimes people will come on this path and they'll just start going into, hardcore rituals. And that tends sometimes to not be a good thing to do for the sake of the individual. So it's about, one, knowing yourself, knowing where you're at on this path, because, if you're brand new, again, it's a good idea to look into doing road clearing work. And again, you know what that means if you've been watching videos, but if you're new and you're not, road clearing work is simply clearing paths spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, financially that are blocked. Because as I said before, if you work on those 5 key aspects of yourself, it will create a harmonic life. Things will be working in harmony and unison. But it's a telltale sign, and road work in those areas will make clear to you what areas in life that you're lacking. Okay? That's the key. Once you start to identify those areas, then it's very easy to go to work. It's very easy to select what type of ritualistic work that you need, that needs to be done. Because again, as I said, sometimes people will come in because you like something, or you might be enthralled by it, or you might be so fascinated by it. That necessarily doesn't transition into that's the thing you need to be doing at the current time. And I get it. There's things we like. There's things we gravitate to. But that just may not be what you need at the moment. And then maybe you're lucky. Maybe it is what you need at the moment. Then, hey, that's a great thing. You're doing something. But sometimes you might be forced to do some shit that you can't stand. And it's usually something that you may not be pleasant, or something that you like. That's the part of this path of challenging yourself. And I keep telling people that. Always be prepared to be challenged. Because if this was about just doing the shit you liked and the things you were good at, what would be the point on being on this path if you weren't challenging yourself on a regular basis? You must challenge yourself. Step one, you must be real with yourself. You must be real with yourself in the sense to understand who and what you really are, your strengths and your weaknesses. If you can't be honest with yourself, how in the world are you going to be honest with anybody else? It's something you got to think about. Because you'll have people that will say, on this path, deal with your bullshit. You must deal with your shadow selves. Again, sounds beautiful. Becomes a cliche, a catchphrase on this path. But sometimes we get caught up in saying it and we're not really doing it. Because if you're really doing it and working on self, it's confirmed by way of your results. It's that simple. If you're not getting results, then you're not doing the work. And if you're not getting results consistently, it's because you're not doing the work consistently. Okay? So you got to come to conclusions and grips with that. How consistent are you in your work? There's another thing I get emails on. Let me address this, since I was talking about that in the beginning. Okay? I'll get an email and somebody will say, I did such and such. I did this ritual, and this happened. And they'll describe in the email of all these great things that happen and the great results. And I've mentioned this a couple of times in videos now, but I continue to get this email. And then after having said all those great things and the great results that took place, this and that, they followed it up with, did I do it right? That kills me right there. Because they don't realize how much they are diminishing their power as a black adept, a black magician. The very fact that in the email you're confirming to me you got great results, there's your answer that you did it right. You did it right the way it needed to be done for you. Because then they get baffled, because the next question asks, when you say, did I do it right? What are you gauging that right or wrong to? That's my next question. What are we gauging it to? We don't gauge, there's no such thing as right or wrong. Okay, on this path. Because when somebody says to me on this path, did I do this right? My next question is, well, what are we measuring that up to? What right and wrong methodology are you gauging that to? That confuses me. I'm saying that to say, if you're still in that mindset, you're still kind of religious and you just may not realize it. The right way to do it is the way that you need to do it for you, and the way that it needs to be done as far as getting results. So if you had some or a bit of uncertainty before you started, well, you got your answer via the results. So that's it. Don't say, did I do it right? Of course you did it right. But you diminish your power when you question and doubt the validity of your results. And sometimes we're looking for this great cataclysmic event to take place. Like, you know, in my mind, with some people I deal with, I was like, what are you waiting for? The fucking sky to open up and some great, you know, and then here's some, I don't know. It's just, we got to get out of that mindset, like some spooky shit needs to happen to confirm, you know, the power of what we're doing. And that's not the case. And you're diminishing your power. You're diminishing your strength. You're not understanding what this path is about. Okay, if we're dealing with being grounded in reality, which is step one, right? Master the physical, right? Whereas most dogmas and doctrines teach you, no, you must suppress everything of the physical realm and the physical world. It's what creates your weakness. It's what holds you down. You know, you should not be chasing wealth and money. And we heard all these tools. Don't be, don't be in, be in the world, but don't be of it. Right? All of these lame ass excuses that keep people broke. Mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, but the whole nine, spiritually, because you're getting poor information. See, there's nowhere on this path where we teach to totally shun the physical world. That's completely ridiculous. Okay? We do have an aspect on this path called the path of indulgence, where you should indulge on this path to gain your experience. Now, I'm not saying, I want to make this clear, I'm not saying to indulge with no type of self-discipline or control and just, be all, no. You should indulge to gain your experiences. Because by your indulgence, you are able to identify if what it is you're indulging in is for you or not. It's that simple. So we by no means on this path teach have nothing to do with the physical world like all those marshmallowy, fluffy systems do. No, money's evil and, having all those things is wicked. That's a broke person mind. Okay, we don't deal with that shit. One of the goals you should strive for on this path is to be a well-rounded, successful individual on the physical plane. Okay? Whether that's career-wise, if you have a business, you should strive to have the nice things in life. You should strive to have nice cars, nice homes. All right? If anybody otherwise tells you no, you shouldn't, then I guarantee you 9 out of 10 times they're either religious or broke. Okay? That's completely not true. Now, I'm not saying that should be your sole focus and you should just be chasing materialistic things. That's not what I'm saying. Remember, this path is about harmony, right? And I talked a little bit about that on the video I posted a few days ago. This path is about creating harmony within the Black Adept, taking all of those energies and coming up with that harmony that you need on your path to make you successful. So, how do you incorporate that in your life? Well, it depends on what your status is in life. Will show how much time and energy you must devote on those physical things. Okay? But anybody that tells you there's nothing physical, the spirituality, this and that, they're not doing you justice. Because you should be, again, trying to be successful on this worldly plane, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And I've mentioned many times in the past, if anybody's telling you that striving to have those things to be successful and have nice materialistic things, then they're full of shit. And they're probably broke as fuck. Okay? So we're trying to integrate all aspects of our lives and our existence in this path. And the physical is part of it. I don't care. Look, same thing with your physical desires. You're told to shun them. Don't give in to your physical desires. That's evil. No. If you need to experience certain pussy, experience it. If you need to experience certain dick, experience it. Within reason, though. I'm not saying just open yourself up to anything or anybody, but if the situation's right and it's the right individual or individuals, then you indulge and explore how you need to see fit. Because if you don't indulge in some of those desires, you will become a victim to them. Right? You will become controlled with them. Because completely suppressing them is not going to make them go away. I just want to make that clear. But when using the aspect of the path of indulgence on this path, you have to exercise certain self-discipline. You have to be able to know your limitations and control. So I'm not saying just run buck wild with no restraint. You set those parameters based on what you got going on. But we don't teach to suppress those things. Explore your sexual desires. If there's some foods you crave, it's okay to indulge in them once in a while, get a little taste, right? And stop being this religious, tutti-frutti vegetarian. But that's become a motherfucking religion, in my opinion, now. Okay? It's okay if you craving that piece of cheesecake once in a while, or that banana split. Treat yourself once in a while. Stop being motherfucking religious. Stop getting into all this spooky ass shit. You're not gonna die. Okay? I'm not telling you eat that shit 7 days a week, all day, every day. But if you get once in a while, once a month, once every other month, shit ain't gonna kill you. Okay? You want it. Let me stop. But anyway, I just wanted to touch on a couple of those things real quick. Again, we're moving into that area now this month, leading up to the ritual. We'll be dealing with that demonic energy. And as I said in the beginning of the video, people sending me the emails about, coming to the rituals, the online classes, and all that stuff. As I addressed in the beginning. And again, the brother that sent the email about the Sith videos back in February, the books, again, Sith Academy. Alright? And all you have to do is just go online to Amazon, Google Sith Academy, and a list of all their books will come up. And if you're willing to explore the acolyte path to become a Sith master, there's some good tools in there, if you so choose to use them. Alright? So that's what we got coming up. I just wanted to, again, briefly go through that. I will be on tomorrow, which is Tuesday, going over, getting more in depth into the Klippoth, Lilith, Samael. We'll be going into all that shit tomorrow. I know many people use it, but I think I'm going to come with something that'll be very beneficial, for that you can use on this path. So as part of the whole demonic integration work and the personal daemon work that you do, which is core, which is foundation, all of this shit is connected to it. And when you're well grounded in this type of information, it's going to make your magic more powerful. Trust me when I tell you. All right? So that is the plan. So again, tomorrow, if you need to contact me for spiritual consultation or reading or any other spiritual matter, hit me up in the email, khnum19@gmail.com. Please don't go on the Instagram and the Facebook and message me and tell me all about your problems. It's not the way to do it. Don't do it on a forum like that. Send me an email, and we go from there. So if you're interested in any of those things, emails in the description box. All right, and Tuesday night, we will be on. And then real quick, just upcoming guests, just a reminder, and I'll remind people again tomorrow. Again, we will have no show this Thursday. We'll be back next Thursday at 8 o'clock with Dr. Edward Bruce Bynum. He'll be back on the show on April 18th. April 25th, Bal Cadman will return. And if you've been coming in the room, Bal Cadman's been popping in and out. And he even called in on a couple shows back. So you never know who's going to pop up in the room. It's good to see some of the people that we're bringing on are now checking out the channel. And it's good to have that network, that support. So he'll be on April 25th. Richard K. Page will be back May 18th to talk about some of his other books. We'll have some other guests coming on. Plan on next Tuesday to possibly bring back Priestess Asit Ra Amen. Not this Tuesday, the following Tuesday. All right. So that's what's going on, and I hope those couple questions in reference to those emails, hopefully that helped you. So I just figured I'd shoot this real quick while riding home, and I'll see everybody on the YouTube tomorrow night. Peace.